Welcome, 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 Bronco Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome to another edition of Bronco Nation Live. We meet with you almost every Thursday around 7 o'clock. I apologize, we're running a little bit late. I had a medical procedure today, so I'm kind of cruising through the grogginess here. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Sam Gillette of Sam Talk Sports. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, doing well. It's doing a lot better till last night, but we'll cover that a little bit later. It's been a long day though, but we're here. We're going to talk some Boise State sports. We're going to kind of halfway get you caught up on some of the things and get you
Yep.
previewed on
So,
the other things.
kind of labeled this episode the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're kind of going through some things right now in Boise State sports. We've got, men's and women's basketball going. We've got the transfer portal open at the moment. And then we have Boise State gymnastics coming, and we've got other spring sports kind of trying to ramp up and get going here. So, on Thursday night, you can find us here at 7 o'clock most Thursdays, where we're going to talk about Bronco sports, but mainly, during the basketball seasons, we will probably be heavy on women's and men's basketball. So, with that in mind, let's start out with the good. um, Tomorrow we have the season opener for Boise State gymnastics. We recently had all-time great Emily Lopez on a Bronco Talk, where we previewed the 2026 squad. So appreciative with her. She's a future Hall of Famer for Boise State, and she took the time while she's getting her master's and everything she's doing in marketing for Boise State to sit down and for that it was about a 40-minute show. So
Yep.
real easy to consume if you want to go check it out. And if you're watching this broadcast, head on over to YouTube at Bronco Nation Updates. Join us there. Join us in the Organized Experience chat, and we'll focus your comments and your questions live on air as we're doing this. But anyway, had her on the show. We were able to do a little bit of preview on the 2026 season coming up. They are starting out the season tomorrow in Cedar City, Utah.
Try saying that past 5 times.
Yeah, just have some patience with me. I'm still getting through this fog, and but everything came out all right with that procedure, so I'm happy about that. I'm feeling blessed. But so yeah, they are starting out their season in Cedar City, Utah, at 6:30 tomorrow. They're going to be on a channel called On Overnight. So you may have to do a little bit of digging. I would probably start trying to find that if you want to watch the meet. I would try to find that probably about an hour before they get going, just so that you have time to find it somewhere. But it's on overnight, and there's no I in night, so it's over NGHT. So if you can find that and you want to watch that meet, do so there. So they're starting out their season with a non-conference meet. They're currently, the last time I looked, I think they're ranked 29th in the nation. So they're a real elite program when it comes to gymnastics. And we were able to preview that with Emlo, and she's really optimistic about the talent that they have on the roster and the new coming freshmen that are coming in. So what did you think about that show, Sam?
It was fun. I'm not a huge gymnastics person. So it was very informative for me. So for anybody that's not really big into gymnastics but wants to kind of get a behind the scene of what uh, Bronco gymnastics are like and kind of the expectation of the program, it's a very informative show to watch. But, where did you say that meet was gonna be at again?
Now you're just messing with me. It's in Cedar City, Utah, and they're going up against Southern Utah.
Yeah.
The And then the other good part is, we kind of encountered some ugly yesterday, but the good part about yesterday was the Boise State women's basketball went down to the United States Air Force Base, and they pulled out a win over there in Colorado. I
Yep.
think Sam's got the stats here.
Yeah. So, the ladies just kinda bring you up to speed since we haven't been on air for a little bit. They're 11-5 overall, 2-3 in conference play. They played Air Force, who are now 7-8 overall, 1-4 in conference play. Boise State only 3 games behind first, who happens to be, tied with, San Diego State and UNLV, so that seems to be the cream of the crop this year. Uh, Boise State could still pull this one out, the ladies can, if they can get out of their own way. They've had some poor shooting nights in the past, but, last night or, yesterday afternoon, I should say, kinda, early evening for me, I guess. 52%, shooting from the field, 50% from behind the arc, and, 62 at the line. Turnovers still continue to be an issue for them. They had 26, 34 rebounds, and, they put out a 18-point, lead, and it was enough to win it, 70-59. Uh, but yeah, Natalie Pascal, 24 points. Tatum Thompson had 7 rebounds, and then Maya Hansen with the 6 assists. But it was really a good team win to get that conference win. Tatum had 10 points to go along with her 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And we had her on the show. Was it Friday? It was Friday,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
last
We had
Friday.
Tatum.
Yep.
Yep. And she describes herself as a undersized center. So, uh, but she gets the job done, gets in there and works it out. She's had a couple double doubles over the Christmas break, so um, she's making things making things happen. Natalie had 24 points, 5 rebounds, and a block as well. And then Danny Bays, another one we've had on our show, she had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. With Maya Hansen throwing in 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists to go along with 1 steal. So a lot of good coming from the starters. Not much production off of the bench. Uh, I'm not even going to try and say it. Borsherding, is that it? Mason Borsherding, or
Yeah, Mason Borcherding.
yeah, led the bench scoring with 4 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal. So not a deep bench, but some players got some playtime in last 3-4 minutes of the game, but still, playtime is experience. And in comparison, the defense held Air Force to 36% shooting, 30% from behind the arc, and Air Force was better on the line, 10 of 14 for 71%. Out rebounded them 34-30, out assisted them 18 to 15. Uh, but again, turnovers, they put up 15 steals, only 2 blocks though, so that's a good thing. Air Force only had the 19 turnovers as well. So a better team is going to probably capitalize more on the 26 turnovers that we had.
Mhm.
Points in the paint, the edge goes to the Broncos, 30-24, and Boise State really controlled this game from start to finish. Air Force had a 2-point lead at one point, but it didn't last very long. So good play, great play from the starters, spreading the ball around, getting them points, and it's something you want to see whenever they come up against that tougher competition. You definitely don't want to see things like what happened earlier in the year against Colorado and Utah, where the Big 12 just kind of mopped the floor with them. So hopefully, conference play comes around and they're able to get some stuff going on, and we'll go from there.
And
Jason,
and you meant
I see your comments, Jason, on Facebook. stick around. We're going to cover the men's here in a little bit.
Right. And you mentioned that that's a staggering 26 turnovers. I know
Yeah.
it's for women's basketball, but I think what you know where Natalie got the splashing 24 points. I think what really helped them out was Maya Hansen's 15 points, and because you had Tatum and Danny uncharacteristically below their averages at 10 and 11 points.
Yeah.
That 15 points from the point from the one spot really, that's what gave them that, the majority of that 19-point win against Air Force, especially having 26 turnovers. So I really like Maya Hansen. I love her leadership on the floor there, and I think that kind of goes under the radar. So I want to give her a little bit of shine with that.
Yeah.
She picked her game up there, and that's what
And
gave
Maya
them
Maya does a lot, but kinda like what most people see RJ Keene, who didn't have a great last couple games. She's not so much just the glue guy that RJ is, but she does a lot of the intangible things that make the team better. It may not always translate to stats on the scorecard, but she does the things that are needed to win, even if she's not the one doing the scoring. And that's something that you need to have on every team. Uh,
Mhm.
but unlike RJ, um, she actually puts stats on the stat sheet in other ways. Um, where I mean, not a knock on the guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. If you've met him in person, I haven't, but he doesn't fill the stat sheet out. He does the intangibles, but that's all he does. He doesn't
Yeah,
contribute.
he's like a Rodman. He's like a Rodman. He'll get you the rebound, the boards, and and you don't know if he's going
Well,
to have a shooter.
even then, he hasn't got very many boards over the last few weeks. I think
True.
he's
True.
averaging two or less a game, so,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
it makes you wonder
that's
what's
gonna
going on there.
hurt the team if that's what they're banking on those
Yeah,
boards. But
and
um,
if all you're looking for is a ball handler, that he should have been set a long time ago for AG. He's
yeah,
got the ball handling skills and the scoring skills. Um,
and that's
so
what makes Maya so valuable is her
yeah,
ball handling. And then
yep,
another thing too is she's top five from the charity stripe in school history. So she's clutch. When she gets fouled, she makes
yeah,
her free throws, and you can't ask for anything more than that. But then when she comes in and scores, over her average and 15 points, second on the team um, last night. That really propelled them to a nice road conference game. And it's something I preach about it, and um, is a championship. You can really scale you can really forecast a championship team is because championship teams they win all their home conference games,
yeah,
and then they also they can go on the road and take a majority of their road games. So this was really nice for the Broncos to go to Air Force and grab a road game because they just lost one
yeah.
just a couple of weeks ago. So this was really key for them to go and do that. And um, so yeah, I guess we'll in the next segment we'll do our preview for the next game. Correct?
Yes, yeah, we'll do that, after the ad break here in a little bit, so,
Okay.
uh, but yeah, so, the good, really good, you've got, the gymnastics, they kick off their season, as their Mountain West favorites, correct? I
Yeah.
believe so,
They're returning back to back regular season champs.
and just
They're
like the men's basketball team, they wanna be back to back to back heading into the Pac-12, so
Yeah. Yep.
which can happen. It's a
Mhm.
very talented, group of ladies and very disciplined, it sounds like. So, excited to see how this first match, kicks off and goes. And then, women's basketball, they've had their ups and downs this year, but they're 2 and 3 in conference play, and, see if we can't keep that momentum going. See if, the thing with the ladies too, any of the starters can go off on any night and just drain buckets.
Mhm.
But at the same time, all of them have a tendency when 1 or 2 are cold, the other ones, it seems like they try to, overcompensate, and so they miss shots and stuff like that, which we saw that against the Big 12 schools, and we saw it against Grand Canyon, where
Yeah.
the scoring just wasn't there. So, if they can ever figure out how to not get flustered when a group of the starters, not just one, but when a group of the starters aren't hitting it, if they can figure out how to get over that, then they're gonna be pretty dang good.
And I think Danny is getting healthier, so
Yeah.
and you can see it. So I think that that's going to be a real good plus for them as um, they come back to Extra Mile Arena on Saturday for a really important home game, and we'll really see like where they measure up against some of the upper class of the Mountain West. So Bronco Nation, we will be getting to men's basketball soon, but uh, we want to kind of segue into we have the good and now the bad. So let's talk a little bit about the portal. We've been covering the portal. We've been covering it very well from front to back. If you go to our Bronco Nation updates group, you could use the search feature and just type in portal update or transfer update, and you'll get all the updates right there. It'll tell you, we've covered who's visiting Boise State, who's been offered, and who's committed. So part of the bad is we've lost some really big talent
Mhm.
during this uh, transfer portal season. First, and we've lost some coaches. We've been pretty much decimated on the secondary when it comes to coaches. We lost Tyler Stockton, the safeties coach, and then yesterday we lost Demario Warren, the basically the secondaries coach. He went to BYU. Tyler Stockton went to Michigan. Um, and then also Matt Miller went to Washington State. So that's part of the bad. And with that on the defense, I was being really realistic with Ty Benefield. I thought that there was probably a good chance that he wasn't going to be back, but I thought he had a really good possibility of going pro in the NFL. So he was forecasted at like a late second day, early third day. So, if you're thinking late second round, upper third round, that's around 800, 900,000, for that kind of contract. So it's like, my opinion's always been like, if you have a lottery ticket, you got to cash it. Like, you had Alexander Madison a few years ago. He went in the fourth or fifth round. He declared early as a junior, and he's made a really nice career out of it by doing that. So with Buck, I thought, okay, knowing that you're going to make 8 to 900,000, maybe even a mil, he has options. He could either go into the transfer portal too and test the market, see if something's gonna if he's gonna net something higher than a 800 $900,000 bag in the NFL, or is he going to take a risk and get something more? So this week we found out that he visited Lane Kiffin over there in LSU, was sent an offer and he took it. I haven't seen any of the the how much that was worth, that signing was, but I'm guessing that you'd have to think it would be more than what he would have made if he would have declared for the draft. What do you think?
Yeah, it's gotta be. Otherwise, why don't you go to the NFL and make a name for yourself there?
Mhm.
That's the only way I can see that he go over there. He's gotta have signed for something close to or over $1 million to get him to forego the draft. Unless his agent said, "Hey, go to a bigger school and prove yourself there so that you can become a, first or second round pick versus a maybe late second day, early third day pick." I mean, there you don't know what's going through a kid's head if he's doing it for the money or if he's doing it for his draft stock or what it is, and, I mean, some of them you can tell, yeah, he's doing it for the money just based on where he goes, but, Buck, he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I honestly believe he did it for his draft stock.
Yeah, but that being said, it is a risk. It's not a guarantee that he's, for one, it's a powerful, rich, deep, um, you know, deep room of talent. So, I hope that he can, grab one of those starter positions. It sounds like they like to go about two, have two, a strong nickel and,
Yeah.
a safety. So sounds like he does have a really good chance at being one or two. But also, it's also a risk. You never know if you're going to get injured. So that's why I I think that if you have a lottery ticket, just you know go cash it. And if you get injured in the NFL, it's way better to get injured there. You're already under contract. They have the premier um, positions with the league, um, and they have many ways that they can take care of you in the IR, whatever. Where in college, you sign that contract, you get your bag, you get injured, then you just watch your draft stock just plummet. So,
Yeah.
um, good on him for believing in himself and, um, you know, uh, taking a risk and going to improve that draft stock. My only concern though in that where that kind of concerns me is with our team and kind of seeing a domino, and that kind of feeds into this bad segment. So with that, losing the safety, the safeties coach, the secondary coordinator, the secondaries coach. Um, when Buck left, I'm like, all right, great. We have a 4-star 2025 Jabri Bickham
Yeah.
in waiting, who could just step right in there. He's got the size, the length, everything. But then word came yesterday, and he entered the transfer portal. So
Yeah, that one
that's
hurt.
kind of one of those things where, yeah, that really hurt me. And he's a really good
And you
kid.
gotta
And
wonder, and I know you're probably gonna talk about this a little, but you gotta wonder with how well they've been bolstering the secondary in the transfer portal and all these offers that are going out. You gotta wonder if that got into his head and be like, "You know what? If they're gonna bring all these people in and I'm gonna suck hind tit again, I'm gonna go somewhere where I can play." You gotta wonder if that's kind of his mentality too. I still hated seeing him go. I was excited to watch him play.
yeah, and that's the thing too, and that's going to probably feed into what I write about over the off season, and that's kind of a shift in the way that things are done, and you know, um, based on a merit system, right? And giving the younger talent, the chance um, to gain that merit, to get some experience, and without a shadow of a doubt that just because they're bringing on new talent doesn't mean that they're going to be overshadowed. So I believe something needs to change, and it's a good culture, but something needs to change in the work ethic and kind of the things corporately, the way things are maintained, because it's almost like a sieve. You're trying to bring the people in to fill in these holes, and then they still yes, they're pro athletes, but they're still 18 to 23-year-olds,
Yeah.
and you know even the littlest thing can kind of trigger resentment. And then, with the current environment in college sports, it's so easy for somebody to get in their ear, and then they hit the transfer portal, and that's it. Because I fully believe that if Jabri stayed, man, he would have been a force right there. He would have been just, he would have picked up right where Buck left off. He's
Yeah.
got the size. He's got, from what I saw in his high school days, he's got the talent, and so this really hurts. This hurts seeing him go. And then also, we had news that Chris Marshall left. Also, we had Hall Schmidt leave, and he got an opportunity with UCLA from the offensive line. What do you think about some of these other, not just not the backups, but some of these that had the potential that have had potential in the program that are taken off? What's your
Yeah.
honest opinion?
The main one was Debris. I really had high hopes for him. Marshall, I mean, yeah, he came in expected to be wide receiver 1, the premier receiver of the year, and he really underperformed. And you gotta wonder how much of that was, quarterback play. We had Maddox Madsen. We were focused on running. We had a awesome stable of, running backs, running up there, but we didn't have the front line that we thought we were gonna have to really break anybody open. And I think a lot of that was, the coaching staff and everything saying in pressers that we're going to pound the ball down your throat kinda deal. So people are gonna stack the box. So the wide receivers never got the look because we were stacking the box, we were running it. Uh, there was no usage of the wide receiver position getting anybody open early on in games. It was all run, 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 then throw for a little bit, and then run, 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 then throw for a little bit until Max Cutforth got in and, "Oh, hey, we have a throwing quarterback." So, and nothing against Mad Dog. I mean, yeah, he got us there. He won 3, Mountain West Conference championships back to back to back. So, I mean, he's not a bad guy, not a bad quarterback, but obviously he has his shortcomings, no pun intended. But you gotta wonder the receivers' movement, if that has something to do with quarterback play or the lack of certainty at quarterback play. I know there's people out there that are saying Mad Dog's gonna be the starter day 1, and if that's the case, they're not gonna sell out any games because everybody's tired of seeing him. That's your opinion. You're allowed to be wrong once in your life.
Yeah.
But
And you're allowed to post it and talk about it as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And if anybody
So,
tells you anything other than of the sorts, that's just plain weird.
yeah. But, seeing Marshall go, is it really a loss? Look at his drop percentage. I mean, he came in expecting to be the guy, and he was anything but the guy. Whenever Boise State lost Ben Ford, they lost the sure-handed over the middle. Henry came in, and I think they used him way too little, too late because he was that sure hand over the middle as well. If we would have focused Henry and Ford versus Marshall and Caples, which Caples wasn't bad either. He had a few games where he was Butterfingers, but I don't know. Maybe we keep Marshall on or keep some people on, but yeah, losing Marshall, I don't think that's a big hurt. Losing Bickham is just because of the people leaving, but, I'm that's where I'm at. The backups, I I never watched any of the backups play, so there's really nothing there to go off of. Um, so, I mean, I wasn't blessed enough to attend some of them practices like you were to see who was coming up in the trenches, but, uh, maybe one day I'll make my way up there and get after it. So,
Yeah, and if I'm honest, with C Money, I always kind of question, where's his attention on? Is his
yeah,
attention on football and the team, or is it on other things? And I'll just leave it at that. Um,
yeah. But
uh,
and going along with the portal, and you see it on the bottom of your screen there. Do you wanna help Boise State in their nil fund? You can do it for free. All you gotta do, if you're watching on Facebook, hop over to youtube.com/ at Bronco Nation Updates, or just go to YouTube and search Bronco Nation Updates, subscribe, set your notifications so you don't miss when we go live. Then whenever you get that notification that we're live, come in, watch it for 10, 15 minutes, or leave it on as background noise somewhere, and just leave it on till the end of the show. What that does is it will monetize the YouTube channel. When the YouTube channel gets monetized, then we will be able to revenue share off of that to the u to the university and their nil fund. That is the ultimate goal. That's why we always say built by Boise State fans for Boise State fans. You're part of that building process. You're part of By watching this, you're building this program up. You're building this platform up so that we can then send nil funds to for free. You're not having to put any money into this by subscribing and watching. And then we send that money once we get monetized, we send that to the university, and now you're helping build the program, the university. Yeah, you don't get a say on what part of the nil fund your money goes to that way, but you're still helping. So,
And it's
uh,
for free. You're literally
yeah,
just watching. That's
yeah,
it.
doesn't cost you a dime. So, Nick, put this so we can put it out there for for advertisement.
Gotcha. Yep, we'll do that. Well, let's continue on to the bad. Last night's game in Extra Mile Arena. What
Yeah, we're
eight?
not gonna talk about the game yet because it actually gets a little worse than that. Let's talk about the attendance though.
Yeah.
And the and I've had this gripe for years now, both football and basketball, because everyone says, "Oh, we wanna be a P4 program. We wanna be with the big dogs." Well, if you wanna be with the big dogs, you've got to show up like the big dogs show up. The big fan bases show up night in and night out. It doesn't matter if it's at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday, they're there because that's what feeds the program. Whenever you say, "Oh, well, they went over to Butler and they didn't have Boise State fans there, and they still won." So that's not an excuse. There's still fans in Butler. Butler was sold out, I believe. You can fact check me on that, I'm sure. There is still a energy in the atmosphere whenever you're playing in front of a sold out or near sold out crowd versus playing in front of a high school gymnasium half full, which last night was comparable to a high school gymnasium half full. I've played in high school gymnasiums half full, and if it wasn't for my dad yelling in the stands, I wouldn't think anybody was out there. Yeah, you still get out there and you play, and you have fun doing it at that level, but at a championship level, it takes a village. It takes everybody, every fan showing up, being loud, being supportive, win or lose. Not that you can't be disgusted at the losses, but you can't say, "Oh, we lost the Hawaii Pacific, so we're just not gonna show up the rest of the year." We also beat St. Mary's. We also beat Butler. Both are quad ones. We lost by a combined 15 points to the other 3 quad ones, 2 of them by 3 points in, San Diego State and, USC. Both of those were 3-point losses on the road, one of them in Hawaii, and then the other one was a 9-point loss to, NC State, who was ranked at the time. So, to say that, "Oh, we're not gonna show up because of the HPU game," well, why don't you show up because of the quad 1 wins or the quad 1 close games? Granted, the 3 losses weren't at Extra Mile Arena, but still, why not show up because of those wins? By not showing up, you take the energy away from the team, the energy that the team feeds on. That's not something you can coach out of a player. That is something that, yeah, you players can go out there and do the shoot around and everything, and someone can be hot or someone can be cold, and that's not saying you can't win without the crowd there. But it is so much easier when you have a crowd full of support out there making noise, disorienting the other team, being loud behind the other team's benches so that they have to focus harder to be able to get plays off, then and be loud on inbound plays where they have all this noise behind them while they're trying to figure out where they're gonna go. It makes it more difficult when you have an
Free
arena full of
free
fans.
throws.
Yeah. When you have an arena full of fans, making it harder. Not that you're gonna always gonna win if you have a sellout, because we know that's not true, but you don't not show up just because you don't think you're gonna win. That is not what a power program and a power fan base does. You've got to show up if you want to propel this program into a power conference. Not only that, but where do you think ticket sales go to? They don't just go to, uh, turning the lights on so that you can watch the game or paying the players, well, kinda do go through the paying the players, but it goes to the NIL. That I'm sure every university has a portion of each ticket fund or ticket price going into the NIL purse. Whatever the universities can, put up. I think it's what, 20,000,000 a year? I think I we talked about it the other night. I don't remember what the number was, but, you've by not showing up, you don't give the university that extra money to put towards retaining players, put towards recruiting better players. So, throwing a temper tantrum by saying, "Oh, we didn't, uh, get the HPU win, so we're just not gonna show up the rest of the year." You're not just hurting this team, you're hurting future teams, and you're setting the program back by not showing up. If you have the money and you can go to the games and you're choosing not to just because and you have gone to the games and you're choosing not to go into anymore just because of a one win or loss here or there, uh, or a bad loss, you're not hurting the people you think you're hurting. You're hurting the current players, you're not hurting the administration, you're not hurting the coach, you're hurting the players, you're hurting future players, future prospects, and you're hurting fans of the current game that want to see better players come in. So, that's my, um, that's my 2 cents on the matter.
And uh, Josh and Brenly 5864 on YouTube chimed in, and they say still can't understand students not packing that their the corral. I get we're not Logan or the Pit or Viejas, but lack of students still surprises me. On campus should mean you should go to all the games. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many students though
Yeah,
were
aren't everybody just getting back from Christmas break though,
yeah,
right?
and
Winter
and
break?
also like it was a 9:15 tip off, so I'm not quite sure about that, but I have been to other games where on a Saturday and um, I haven't seen that all the way full like I've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So I do think
I
there
have
was a
yet
drop off.
to see I have yet to see both decks full, upper and lower. I've yet to see it. I mean, we had a couple of 10,000 nights, but I don't think we're averaging over 10,000 in attendance this year, and we've years past, we've been in that 10-4. I'm worried about Utah State Saturday, seeing anybody there with some of the comments I've been reading.
Yeah, yeah. Um, that's Josh from our bourbon beer and basketball show from last night. Thanks for joining us, Josh.
Yep.
And yeah, completely agree. The students, they get their stipends, their tickets. So if you're there on campus, show up, man. Because
Yeah.
last night was, I mean, when our fans don't show up, you're giving away the home court advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I've been as an athlete myself, a former athlete, it's so much easier to go out and do the work whenever you have the crowd support than what it is whenever it's dead. And I'm not gonna lie, we got through with bourbon, beer, and basketball last night. I went up ready to turn the game on, and next thing I know, I was waking up to wondering why I'm not in my bed. So, uh, I guess I was tired last night, so I did not, get to watch the game, but I was able to see the reactions and looking at the stat lines and everything, I could tell it's just an all around bad experience for everybody involved except for Grand Canyon. And
Well,
That
with that in mind, let's get into the ugly. Do you want to give us the stats from last night's game?
no, it's depressing. So last night, again, a dismal 8,806. I'm fairly certain there are one bid conferences that have better attendance than that. Uh, in their games, it was it was bad. But let's see. There we go. Boise State shot a dismal 35% from the floor, an even worse 21% from behind the 3-point line. I think there needs to be some change there, and if if you can't make 7 of 10 free throws just before the game starts, you don't get to shoot, or 3 points, you don't get to shoot them in the game. I don't understand why we keep throwing things up when they're clearly not falling, especially whenever points in the paint, we only had 24. 24 points in the paint to their 36. So, and another thing, why you don't start Drew Fielder, that's another head scratcher. I think your starters should be Fielder, uh, AG, and Buchanan and Meadow, and you know Andrews is
Yeah.
kind of in a slump too. But even Carmichael, Peanut Carmichael, could come in and do the deed too. So, but to start Parolin over uh, Fielder, I mean, they pretty much had equal time. Parolin had 18 minutes, Fielder had 20. But if you're gonna split that time, why not start Fielder? Unless there's some kind of disciplinary stuff going on that we don't know about. I could see that, but that's why I'm not the head coach, I guess. Rebounds, Boise State was out rebounded 38-28. Um, for the first time in a long time, they were out rebounded on offensive rebounds. Uh, with Grand Canyon getting 10 boards on offense versus the 7 for Boise State. Um, Assists were absolutely, uh, I've said dismal a few times already, but you're going to hear it a lot more. 6 assists. What was it? 2 at halftime, you said? You,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
win games if you're not moving the ball. You got to move without the ball. You got to find the open shot. It's getting bad. It's almost feeling like selfish basketball. Like, they went into a funk of, "I'm gonna do what I can for me so that I can boost my stats and hit the transfer portal and at the end of the year." That's almost what it feels like, and I don't know what Rice has to do to get the team back to playing team ball, but it's not team ball right now. 14 turnovers. Turnovers continue to be an issue. Yeah, it's not as much as the ladies, but they come at most inopportune times. Fast break points, that we had the edge there, 11 to 10. Um and then 16 fouls to 19 with both teams getting a tech. Boise State's largest lead was 4. Grand Canyon's was 18, and Boise State didn't hold that lead very long. Again, 8,000 fans, Wednesday night or not, show up. It's it's it went from bad to ugly because the fans didn't show up. Let's put it that way. There's no energy in the building for the fans to, or for the team to feed off of. And these are the kind of games where you want them. The games where it seems like, "Oh, this should be an easy win." Those are the games that you need to show up the most because those are the games that tend to trip people up. So, let's see. Going on to, player of the game, Buchanan, Javen Buchanan, 18 points, 3 rebounds, uh, 2 turnovers though, 1 foul. He led all Boise State scorers. Uh, yeah. Hopefully they go back down to, Grand Canyon and they return the favor
Still,
whenever they
you
play 'em
got you
again.
got to at this point, when you start losing home games, you got to start thinking about how you're going to steal them back on the road, and that's hard.
Yeah, yeah. And the only other double-digit scorer last night was Drew Fielder, which whenever you've had 3 or 4 games of multi double-digit scores, uh, yeah, Fielder with 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. Leading rebounder of the night was Carmichael with 5. Um, why your centers aren't your leading rebounders? That's that seems like basketball 101 right there.
Mhm.
But it is what it is. We're not the coaches. We can't change what the coaches see or what the coaches are trying to get done. And you've got to wonder after coming back from 24 points down with uh, against San Diego State, forcing it to overtime, leading with 6 minutes or by 6 with what was it? Less than a minute to go in the first overtime, and not being able to pull it off by the end of third overtime, losing by 3. You've got to wonder if the players have been back and forth with each other. Maybe that this game almost has that feel to it. Um, Where maybe something was said in the locker room and people are blowing up and mad at each other because you fought back and you had the chance to win and you didn't. You gotta wonder if there's something more going on in the locker room amongst the players that maybe the coaches aren't gonna be able to coach out, and if that's the case, it's gonna be a long season, and there's nothing Rice can do about it because it doesn't matter who he starts or who he sits. If they've lost their ability to gel and ability to play as a team, you can't do anything about it until you can get new people brought in, unless you can
So,
find some common ground somewhere.
so to try to answer Jason's question here, what's up with the men's team? Do you think? Um, I think something happened. I mean, they come back from 24 points down. Yes, it was an instant classic. It was a major letdown for fans, like me. You got to wonder how much of a letdown that was for the men. But what really kind of took the air out of everything was when RJ lobbed that pass. That when those types of things happen, it just to me it just screams of like a lack of preparedness by you know the coaching staff, and even for the coaching staff to say, yeah, that's one of our options. It's like, well, there's a there's a breakdown in communication, because if you have a timeout, rather than throw lob a pass up like that, call the timeout, reset, and drop a play. And that's been kind of one of my pet peeves about um, you know Coach Rice is he would rather come out and not allow the other team to game plan. Um, but if you sit down and you've done all of your due diligence and prepared, you should be able to drop the right play that you need, especially if you call timeout and then you get it on, your side of the court by calling timeout. Um, you have enough seconds to write up a play really quick, and if the other team's going to counter it, I mean, so be it. But you get into those situations where you got a player just throwing the ball down the court because because it's an option. That's that screams to me that there's a lack of preparedness, lack of communication, and for me that's kind of the pivotal point where it kind of sucked the air out of not only being a fan, but I'm sure it did a number on the team, and ultimately they lost. And you can blame it on fouls and this and that, but um, you know if they could have played that right, they probably could have came off with the play to win that game right there. I mean, they were up. They were up, and if you don't throw that turnover right there, you can find a way to lock that down.
Yep. And for Josh, I'm sorry. He says Boise State 37 for 130 32 in the last 5 games from 3-point range, 28%. Truly expected better long range this year. When we can't get into the lane efficiently, we force up terrible shots, leads to this whole thing. And I agree. Uh,
Yeah, I mean they
I, I've
were they were
I've always
six.
yeah
They were
I've
four
always
for
been
19.
yeah, and it it seems like every Leon Rice coach team does that, and I don't know if it's the coaching. The beginning of the year, it was better. I will say this: the beginning of the year, it was better. You didn't see them long scoring droughts like we were used to seeing. But it seems like every Leon Rice coach team does that. You go for a while without scoring, or you miss a bunch of different shots, and then you just throw up even wilder shots than the shot before instead of honing it in, keeping it under control, finding the hoop, a- and making it and get yourself out of that funk. But I don't know why the his teams can't get out of their own way whenever the ball isn't falling and find a way to make things work without throwing up wings and a prayer.
Okay, you want to address Jason's other question here.
Yep.
Um,
What was the other one?
what are your thoughts on Rice
Oh
blaming the
yeah,
fans and saying it was more a neutral game last night?
yeah. I agree with him. However, where it gets ugly is how he addressed it. He addressed it at a time where he needed to take the blame and not pass blame off onto poor attendance. That could have been a podcast or a Monday press style presser interview question there. After you've taken the blame, after you've done the soul searching, then go out and say, listen, we need the fan support. We've taken responsibility for how we played on that court. Now it's your turn to take the responsibility for low attendance and pack Extra Mile Arena, especially Saturday. Because what he did was basically, unless people just want to go see a good game, he almost ensures that Saturday is going to be an empty stadium, an empty arena against a top 25 team. Yeah, they're not actually ranked top 25. They're like 26 or so, 26 or 27, but they're right there. The best team in the Mountain West is coming to the X on Saturday, and you told your fans that they're the reason that you lost. That was the mistake. That's why it went from bad to ugly. I don't agree. I agree with what he said. I do not agree that that's the avenue he chose to say it in. It could have
So
been
it kind,
it could have been a video encouraging fans to show up so
Mhm.
that they have the crowd rather than saying you weren't there and that uh made all the difference.
Yeah, and he could take his own advice because he also stated that right after the game, he doesn't jump down a player's throat, right? He waits until it's film time, and then he addresses, hey, this is where you screwed up. This is how you can do it. He could take that his own advice and chill out
Yeah.
on the fan talk, and then like you said, if they have a great marketing team, do a video, come out.
Yep.
He could have came out today, go, hey, you know really need your support, you know sorry about the product you saw on Wednesday night. We really need your support against a really tough and dorky Utah State team.
Josh says, to Rice's credit, he blamed many things. I don't love the narrative that he's pinning it on the fans not showing up. Contributing factor for sure. He's blasted his point guards though, and I think that's going to
Yeah,
be kind of
that's
come
fair.
into what Sarah is saying. Do you think we will play right this Saturday? I hope so. I really do. And it almost comes along the lines. I don't remember if you remember during the college football playoff roundtable, the CFP roundtable that we do. I had brought up, do you think Tulane will respond and actually play for their coach after the coach had said that he doesn't think that they're a power team and doesn't think they should be ranked in the top 25 after they got their first top 25 ranking because of how they practice and how they play. So I really hope that by Rice publicly calling out point guard play, that forces them, like Tulane, to do that soul searching and say, you know what? he's right. Let's get this back on track. I really hope that's where you're gonna find out if these kids are coachable or if they're just out here playing ball for themselves. Because if they're coachable, they're gonna have one hell of a game Saturday against Utah State. If they're just out here playing for themselves, they're gonna shut down and they're already looking for transfer portal. Or they're gonna find ways to say, "You know what? Let's go to Jeremiah Dickey and let's get Rice out of here before we start playing again." So we're gonna see in the coming weeks if this team's going to play right or if they're gonna shut down and one try and get Rice fired or two prepare themselves for the portal.
I want to address this right before our break. Susie Brewer Hayes. Some of us can't afford the tickets. They have been kind of affordable, but also just what I would like to suggest for you, Susie, if you're not already, become a member of the Bronco Nation Updates group in Facebook. Connect with myself or Jason Jungling, and you know. Um, Outside of the guidelines of the group and not selling tickets, a lot of times Jason's able to find some gifted tickets, and so just get connected with us, and we'll see what we can do to help that out. So well, we're gonna hit a break, and when we come back we will go ahead and preview what's coming up this week.
Life feels lighter when your space is in order. At the Organize Experience, Stacy McLaughlin helps you prepare, declutter, and organize so you can focus on what truly matters. From homes to offices, she brings freedom through structure. Visit theorganizeexperience.com and discover how organization can transform your life today.
All right, and we're back. How am I doing, Sam? Am I see
Uh,
any difference? Am I foggy,
you're
or am I
you're
doing okay?
sitting a you're sitting a little different.
All I know is when I came out of there is yeah, I was a little lightheaded.
I wanna,
I
before we move on, I wanna move on to, or go back, Josh had a comment there before the break. He asked, "Do you
Okay.
guys think Saturday is the pivot moment of the whole year? Win and go on a
Hmm.
major run or get destroyed and it turns into a 500 or below season and someone, maybe
Hmm.
not Rice, gets canned?" Uh, with as good as Utah State is this year, I don't think that a loss or a blowout will have much impact on the rest of the year. A win will definitely be a great confidence boost and will definitely help uh, moving forward. A blowout loss, yeah, it's going to suck, and there's going to be a lot of people calling for things to change. But it's Utah State; they're comparable to the uh, 2023 San Diego State team that made the deep run in the tournament. Uh, I think it was 2023. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain it was. Um, and they're solid this year. Their only loss was oh geez, I knew it. Now I don't. Yeah, it was a close loss. I have to go back and look it up, but it was a close loss. So it's going to be a good game if we can keep it close. Then I think even if we lose, keep it close, everything's going to be fine. Where you're going to see coaching changes and other things or the panic button come in is if teams like let me pull this up real quick. Sorry, question caught me off guard. Come on, there we go. Yep. If teams like Air Force or Fresno State or San Jose State or even Wyoming at this point, and UNLV is they're not the UNLV they used to be. And Colorado State, they're proven to be in a down year as well. If the bottom half of the conference starts beating Boise State soundly, that's whenever the panic needs to hit. If a blowout by Utah State, that's not going to be too big of an issue uh, for me anyway. Just because Utah State is going to be uh, is going to be in the tournament, and they're going to make a run. And their loss was to South Florida. I just looked it up. 13-point loss to South Florida, who's not bad this year. So, um, but then they turn around and beat Colorado State 100-58. So, and we all know Colorado State has some good teams. Had a 3-point win against VCU, who's historically always in the hunt. Um, they took on Tulane and drubbed them 96-75, who's in the American race right now. Davidson, who's historically had a decent team and in the run, uh, took them 94-60. Uh, so Illinois State, who is setting themselves up to have a similar run that their football program had, they beat them. So they're not they beat a lot of teams that could make the tournament this year. So, but they're solid. Uh, but yeah, and to your point here, Josh Rice survived the 13-20 season of 18-19. Haven't had less than 19 wins since. I still believe in Rice. With the calls for his head from the last few years and his inability to win in the big dance, I don't think he survives another sub 20-win season. I just don't. Who do you get to replace him? I don't know. But with people already at unrest with Rice not being able to win the big ones, it's going to eventually catch up to him. Hopefully he gets that 20 win, makes a deep run in the Mountain West tournament, beats Utah State, uh, and things can go good if all that happens. They can go good.
Yeah, I think Saturday is going to be a real heart check. See, just how tough this team is, and if they're willing to check their egos aside, and as Rice said in this post game conference, stop being selfish and weak, and then muscle up and take it on as a team and show some heart. We'll see. We'll get to see that, but I think I kind of agree. If you start seeing them losing to these lower tiered team, that's when at some point they're going to have to go. Okay, we got to play for the tournament.
Yeah.
And I've kind of held that view. I've been kind of pessimistic ever since that Hawaii Pacific game, and I truly am kind of like that. With these Rice teams is, it seems like, when they do get that, the bid for the big dance, they always get pinned up against they always get the raw deal. And it's like, I almost think that it's until they win the conference, the tournament championship, that's really going to determine if they're going to go to the dance or not. To me, I think that from what I'm seeing, and I hope that they can turn it around and they change my mind. But as far as I can see, it's going to be what can you do in the tournament?
Yeah.
You're going to win the tournament and get in.
And it's weird how this team operates. They beat St. Mary's, had a sizable lead in that one, and St. Mary's came back at the end, kind of made it close. And then they get blown out by Nevada, and then they beat New Mexico. They get blown out in the first half by San Diego State and fight back and lose a close one, and then get blown out by Grand Canyon. It's almost like they have that once they get a good win, they have that my stuff don't stink mentality. Oh, we've got this. You can't beat us because we've beat these better teams, and they just don't have the focus at these lesser opponents. We saw it against Hawaii Pacific. They came out and popped us early, and they never recovered because it's Hawaii Pacific. We got this. We're so much better than them. And I don't know how you coach that out of a team. I really don't.
And see, and that's what I'm saying. We haven't seen something like that where people check their ego at the door since 2022 when you had Abu Kijab and Tyson Degenhart. Those you had also Seeker Sauce Smith and Mladen, and all of them were team oriented, and they went on that
Yeah.
Majestic run. They got the double champ strap that year. So unless I really hope that they can do something like that. Check their egos at the door. Start playing for each other, not worrying about minutes or points or whatever. And also with Rice, don't overthink this stuff, man. You don't need to put in Parolin for Fielder. Just if you got a point guard slumping, just swap in AG for him.
Yeah.
Without
Yep.
saying names. And while we're at it, why don't we go ahead and preview Utah
Yep.
State game?
So, two high-scoring offenses. Utah State comes in averaging 86.6 points per game. Boise State 76.7. So could be a good one. The defenses, very good defenses. Utah State giving up 66.9, Boise State 72.7. Seems like that number's a little bit high for Boise State because of the 100-point game they had with uh, San Diego State. But I think that 70-point, probably if you take that out, it's probably down in the 60s as well. Uh, Utah State shooting 53%, Boise State 43%. Boise State's really been in a shooting slump though. First half of the San Diego State game and then against Grand Canyon. Uh, Boise State holds the edge on rebounds, 38-36, and Utah State with the assists, 18-13, and they have more blocks and steals as well. So ball control is going to be key in this game. No turnovers. Boise State's been on a turnover uh, terror with both men's and women's the last few games. So we need to definitely make sure that's under control. Uh, for Utah State, they got MJ Collins Jr. is an absolute beast. He's 30th in the NCAA right now with scoring, averaging 20.1 points per game. So and shooting over 56% uh, from the field as well. That's tied for 63rd uh, in the NCAA. So definitely going to have to shut him down. We've shut down top scorers before. Our defense has been able to do that, and I hope that they show up and are able to do that this game as well. Uh, for Boise State, you have Drew Fielders averaging 13.4 points per game, and he's shooting over 55%, tied for 77th. So if he can get off and do some work, then that's gonna prove to be good. ESPN does have Utah State winning this matchup 70.5% of the time, though. Uh, Other scores for Boise State. Uh, this loads. Javon Buchanan, he's been really clutch lately. Leading scorers, uh, 41.6% from the field, though. Uh, Not bad, not enough to be ranked, but averaging 12.5 points per game. But the last few games, he's really upped that. Uh, so good on him. Andrew Meadow, really like to see him get going. He's averaging 12.5 per game, shooting over 50% from the floor. He needs to start making more. He needs to be a force and ready to go. Uh, Dylan Andrews started the year out so promising, and he has just fallen off. What was it? He's made what 6 shots in the last however many games? Is that what you said or somebody said earlier? Uh, I don't remember now, but he needs to have a game. He needs to come out, get out of his own way, figure out whatever the yips are that he's got going on, and get over it because he's shooting 28% right now, and he had at the end of the end of overtime or regulation at the San Diego State game had a pull up jumper from just inside the free throw line and rattled out, hit every side but the bottom side of the net. So he needs to do something in this game. He needs to prove that he's back to being Dylan Andrews that we saw at the start of the year. AG Neto coming on strong here lately, only averaging 5.9 points per game, shooting over 40% from the floor, though. So love to see the freshman get in there and use his size to make some noise and make Utah State really have to figure something out. Your favorite guy, Mr. Spencer Aarons, 6'10" freshman. Uh, Out of Ontario. He's averaging 5.5 a game, shooting over 41% from the floor. he's another one that his size could really and his wingspan can really cause trouble for Utah State and really be defensive asset uh, come Saturday.
Yeah, so this is how cold Dylan Andrews is, and this is brought to you courtesy of our friends Boise Sports Breakdown from IG. Assists 3.7. He's 246th in the nation, and we paid him good money to come to Boise State, right? And then, but where it's really not in his favor is field goal percentage 28.7, 3,800 in the nation. 3-point
You say
field goal
3,800,
3,800,
like 3,800.
3,800.
Wow.
And then on the field, 3-point field goal percentage, 26.9, and that is 2,066 in the nation. So all that being said is Boise State's not getting an ROI on that. So, you got to, they have to do something different, and I think, maybe this is the game. He's been called on the carpet now. Now it's time for him to show heart and earn. He's a pro. They're all pros now. They're getting paid. This is his opportunity to come here. He's, his counterpart on Utah State's got 5.1 assists. Would like to see him, put up the same kind of numbers as him. We brought him in here for a reason, and that's to plug the hole that Albero Cardenas left. And I don't even think we're getting the third of it. So, so that's just kind of how to a clearer picture of what's going on at the point where I kind of disagree with Coach Rice is I thought AG Neto did awesome. I thought he did great. With the limited time that he had and the way that they're using him, I'd like to see him have some more assists, but really, he's a freshman. You brought in Dylan Andrews to do that, and he's not doing it. So I think most of that responsibility lands on DA. So, but I don't think that AG should have got a lot of that shrapnel. I think that, but if it were me, I would be starting AG Neto until DA comes out of his funk.
Yep. There's another game coming up on Saturday. You have Colorado State playing Boise State at the X. Colorado State's been given 76.8% chance of the time winning by ESPN. Boise State outscores Colorado State 71.4 to 68.6, but they also allow almost 15 points more per game exactly 15 points more per game than Colorado State. So it's going to be a good offensive-defensive battle and see what happens there. Both shooting 43% from the field. Rebounds are very similar, 37 to 35 in favor of Colorado State. Broncos pass the ball around more with 16.6 assists to Colorado State's 12.4, and they come in with comparable, almost identical blocks and steals. So again, ball control is going to be key in this one, with Boise State really having a hard time on turnovers lately. But you got Tatum Thompson coming on strong. She had a couple double-doubles over the winter break, averaging 14.9 points per game with 7 rebounds, shooting over 45% from the field. She's going to have a game to prove the ESPN predictor wrong, which she can. We had her on the show, real humble, down to earth. She's gonna shine. Things will be fine. Sorry. Then you have Natalie Pasco, who is 5th in 3-point percentage, I think, in the nation.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So she can shoot from behind the arc. She's 14 averages 14 points, 3 rebounds, and shoots over 48% from the field. Um, so she's progressively getting better as her career moves on. She started out as a freshman only getting 8 points a game, and now she's up to 14. So good on her. Her last 5 games, she put up 24 against Air Force, 19 against Nevada, 16 against New Mexico, and so she's had a couple cold nights through there, only putting up 5 against San Diego State and 2 against Grand Canyon. But other people are able to pick up where she slumps off. Danny Bay is another top scorer for the ladies. We've had her on as well. I think we need to try and get Natalie on so that they can all be on the same page.
Mhm.
We have a running joke that anybody that comes on a Bronco Talk does really well. Javon Buchanan, he's been doing really well. Danny Bays has been doing really well. Tatum Thompson's been doing really well. So uh, anyone from Boise State watching, go ahead and start lining up the interviews, and we'll get you some wins. uh, but Danny's averaging 13.6 points per game, 3 rebounds, and over 42% from the field. Uh, he's been dealing with an arm injury, uh, and you made mention earlier that that's starting to show to not be an issue anymore. And then the other guard, excuse me, Maya Hansen. She's averaging 8 points per game, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and shooting over 45%, almost 46% from the field. Her points aren't as great as everybody else's, but she does a lot of the intangibles, a lot of the screens, and a lot of getting people open and stuff. And she plays really well, really controlled. She's a facilitator with her 5 assists. And that's your seniors right there. And then you have Libby Hutton, uh, sophomore coming in and really uh, doing well at the forward spot. 8 points, 6 rebounds, shooting over 43% from the floor. Really great starting core, and they should win this game. Should, but Colorado State's gonna put up a fight.
Yeah, you got 2 great teams coming into Extra Arena. You know, you got a basically a doubleheader. You got the women at 1, men at 7. So I encourage Bronco Nation. You know, I know it's rough, but Boise is an event town, and let's make this an event.
Yeah.
For this game, you know, you said that Tatum, yeah, since she's been on the show, she's had 2 double doubles. I believe she just captured her 11th career double double, if not last game, but the game before that. But I think, I mean, you got Colorado State. They're 13-3, 4-1 in conference. Boise State is 2-3 with 11-5. This is a really good test for the Broncos to see where they line up. At home with the top 5 of the conference.
Yeah.
Top 5 right now. You have San Diego State, UNLV, Colorado State, and New Mexico right above them. So with this, I want to see, another kind of, I have pet peeves with both Gordy and Leon is situational usage of their timeouts.
Yeah.
On the men's, I'd like to see when they're in one of those scoring droughts, call timeout, get Spencer Aarons in there, AG in there, and put some get a boost going on in there. And then on the same token, on the women's side, they tend to get into situations where you see a lot of those turnovers, right? When you see that, and then you see breakaway points, I'll take a timeout, refocus the group, and because he tends to hold on to these timeouts, and I've seen him so many times going to halftime with timeouts on the board. It's like, use them or you lose them, right? So really would like to see him, especially with a good team like Colorado State. I'm really optimistic with both of these, both of the teams. More optimistic for the women than I am the men. But I think both of these games, they're good. These are good opponents, so they do deserve Bronco Nation to show up and support and watch this and cheer them on, and make an event of it. Take your family out and watch the women. It's a little bit, and I'm sure and watch. They might have a good deal going on with Boise State and Extra Mile Arena on a bundle. So maybe I think sometimes they offer, like, if you buy the men's ticket, you get the women's ticket for free. So just kind of keep an eye out on that. I think we're going to need to see Tatum get a double for them to get a win, and we're going to need to see. We got 4 future Boise State Hall of Famers on this team, and this is kind of what the frustrating part about this is watching them go throughout their career. Each one of these seniors is top 5 in multiple, if not one or multiple, columns in the records books at the school. So just for that fact, they deserve your support to go to their games. So I do think that in order for them to win, I think that Tatum's going to have to bring down those boards like she has been, get in the double digits, get that double, have Natalie Pasco be hot again, and then also Danny showing up how she usually does. And if you have all 3 of those guys, those gals gelling, and then Maya gets into double figures in the points, they could flip that, the matchup predictor and ESPN tremendously, and probably in their favor.
Yeah. Sorry for my weird face. I just saw the replay of an injury for Miami. It didn't look very nice.
Is that one of those they keep showing over and over again?
No, they just showed it once, but the way they landed looks like it's a broken arm.
Oh yeah, they're showing it again.
All right. Colorado State's 4-1 in conference, 13-3 overall. Boise State's 2-3 in conference, 11-5 overall. This is going to be a test for them, just like it is for the men. If they win here, could set the tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and like I said, and it's a little bit different with the women. The women, you always have, you just basically with them, you want them to have a really good, regular season, because realistically, the only team that's coming out of the Mountain West for the, March Madness is the tournament winner at the end. So really want to, but what you can do is you just gauge on, knowing that, championships teams take care of the home conference schedule. They win those games, and, you want to set them up so that they have like a bye in the postseason conference tournament. So that's how I look at this. They did really well last year, but if they would have had a better regular season, they would have had a better seeding, and a better seeding can go a long ways, after a long season.
Yep. For those who want to know, Ole Miss just took the lead over Miami, 19-17, with 7 minutes to play in the fourth. Nick, we pride ourselves on being built by Boise State fans for Boise State fans. How can the Boise State fans that can donate money and dictate where they want their money to go as far as the NIL is concerned, how can they do that?
Yeah, we've put a lot of work into this. I've I established Bronco Nation updates, I don't know, probably 15 years ago. And, I didn't see it going this, but once we got the leverage, I'm like, hey, how can we put this and leverage this to help out Boise State? And then, name, image, and likeness came about, right? So being the innovator that I am, and the dreamer that I aspire to be. We created blueelevation.org. That's our nonprofit. It's it is set up and designed over the last 3 years to be able to crowdsource, where some sites there's a minimum that you have to give. With ours, there's no minimums, just whatever you can. Uh, I mean, we are fans, right? We get it, man. I was basically born in the north end zone. I grew up in the north end zone, getting beer spilled on me as a kid, and barely being able to see over the drunk guys in front of me, because those were the cheapest seats, man. And most of the times, I got them for free or whatever. But so I get it. I get that. It's we don't, our fan base isn't we don't have the deep pockets. So that's why we've created it in such a way that we can crowdsource, and we can pull that money. We can put it into each bucket. We have a lot of different ways. If you donate and you go to the site, when you check out, it doesn't matter how much you're donating, even if it's $1. In the comment line, you just tell us where you want that to go. We'll put it in that bucket. If you wanted to go to softball, we can put it in that bucket. If you want to go to football, to a quarterback, in the quarterback bucket, we'll send it to Boise State that way. I mean, we can, if we were able to maximize this as a fan base, and as it, and we're growing it each year, we're growing it. This has a full potential in the reach that we have, that if we needed to raise capital for, say we are depleted at, say, safety, and we wanted to get a Power 4 safety, we could pull from the crowdsourcing mechanism and go, hey, we would like to help the university out and recruit a Power 4 safety, one that can step in day one and make a difference, and not have to worry about them bouncing for a bigger bag, right? So that's what we can do. $1 at a time. We can do that. Yep. So just go to blueelevation.org or go to bronconationupdates.com, and everything's there. You can find the content that you want to read or watch, and then you can also find the Blue Elevation page in there. You can donate to the NIL. You can donate to our scholarship, Carl Keefer's walk-on scholarship. You can donate to our community outreach, where we partner with Boise State athletes, and we do that one. But the options are endless. The way that we've set this up is, you go in there, you just donate whatever your heart is leading you to donate. In the comment line, you just tell us where you want to go. It's going to go, and what we do is we'll pull from everybody who's donating it, and it go, and as each bucket fills up, then we kick it off to Boise State and say, hey, here you go.
Yep. And if you don't have the funds to donate, we understand not everybody can. But there's a very easy option for you to donate for free. All you've got to do, youtube.com/@Bronco Nation Updates, or just go to youtube.com and search Bronco Nation Updates. Subscribe to the channel, set your notifications so you get notified every time we go live, and then watch for 10 to 15 minutes, or leave it on your phone in the background as just background noise while you're doing other things. What that's going to do is that's going to monetize our YouTube channel. Once we get monetized, then we revenue share with the school. Yeah, you don't have the option of saying, okay, I want my watch time to go towards this kind of deal, because we have no way of being able to track that. But you will see that you're watching, and the monetization from the YouTube channel, you will see that go into the general NIL fund, and that will help every program at Boise State be able to fund their NIL. Yeah, it's not gonna be the big, uh, uh, $1,000,000 donor stuff. If we can get a channel that big to where we can do that kinda stuff, then yeah, that'd be great, but it's gonna be something. Every penny counts whenever you're trying to build a foundation to get up and get the bigger pennies. So, don't worry about, "Oh, I don't have the funds, I can't do anything, I don't even have a dollar to give right now if I wanted to." We've all been there.
Mhm.
It's not a big deal, but you can do things for free, and this is one of those things you can do for free. We are the only program, to my knowledge, that revenue shares and wants to monetize the channel to be able to revenue share with the university. So, but we can't do it without you. That's why we say we are built by Boise State fans for Boise State fans. You're part of the building block process because once we get monetized, then you get to see that monetization go into the nil fund for all of Boise State fans. So if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, head on over to YouTube, subscribe, share with your friends and other Boise State fans, and subscribe there. And even the non Boise State fans, because we have other shows and stuff that go on the Bronco Nation Updates YouTube channel. We have the college football playoff roundtable, CFP roundtable on a rectangle screen, and right now we're watching Miami just ran through the defense and got their touchdown to go back up on top. But Todd Sandberg from Todd Talks College Football, you got Casey Wick, Notre Dame fan. He's the one that hooked Nick and I up with Notre Dame tickets to go to South Bend and watch the Boise State game this year. My dad, who I don't know if I'm going to get him back next year, but he likes doing his pop-offs, and then, you have, Nick and, Jacob Blaymeyer, Bronco believer. He's been on our show, uh, and, I'm missing someone, Dominic Corsetto, from the Sunbelt Syndicate. He's a force on the show as well. So we have a well-rounded group of guys that know college football, know college basketball on our beer, bourbon, and basketball show, that's also on the channel. And so if you're not a Boise State fan or have friends that aren't Boise State fans, tune them onto the channel anyway because there's other content out there that we're broadening that still is relevant, somewhat relevant to Boise State, but it'll be something for everybody to come in and look at. And so if you wanna help Boise State, get the channel monetized, get your friends over to follow, and subscribe to the channel, and, we'll get some nil funds over to Boise State that way. And it doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah,
We do all the work, and you reap all the rewards.
it truly is. Our nonprofit Blue Elevation is elevating Bronco sports with fans like you and I, um, and that's every like, every share, every one of those things helps the channels, helps the platform to where we pride ourselves in we don't have paywalls.
Yep,
All the content is entertaining, it's free to you. All we ask is you just watch, share, like it, and enjoy it. And if you're a Broncos fan, you're a VIP to us, so we don't need you to pay for VIP status. I mean, you got it
yep.
just by being a fan. And I'm also proud that our website we don't have ads on it. We could do that to generate stuff, but I mean, I truly believe that Bronco Nation will support this platform, and we don't need to do that. We don't need to clutter up our uh, our website with crap. So
Yeah,
when you come to Bronco Nation updates, you're not getting crap. You're getting great content. You're getting recruiting updates and news and player highlights and previews and reviews. And I love writing articles about uh, different things that are going on with Boise State. Like I'm going to be bringing probably a 3,000 word article on you know um, changing the culture of the football program. So and that's going to be free. I mean, you don't have to pay to get behind a paywall to read it. That's going to be available for free just because I believe in the vision that we have, and the vision is monetize all this and revenue share to the school that way. But we still have the nonprofit that you can donate and help out that way too, and help out our community outreach. And speaking of that, really thankful to Bronco Nation who helped out this Christmas with our third annual Bronco Christmas on the Blue. We were able to adopt the 17 more kids this year and bless them with the help of Bronco Nation, your gifts, and we got them everything that they wanted for Christmas. It was on their Christmas lists. We got them to bring them to the iconic blue, and then we had some support from Boise State and their student athletes, and just to see the joy in their face, it was a blessing. It's probably more a blessing for us that volunteered than it was for them. But no, they really enjoyed it. And the great thing about this is last year's students, we didn't see a return from them, which means that they found housing this go around. So we were able to, Bronco Nation and us who volunteered to make last year's happen, that helped them out. That helped their parents out to get a leg up and to get back on their feet and, find a home and not be homeless anymore. So that is one of the great things about Bronco Nation updates and the community that we have is that, and I believe that we can do the same thing in helping them out with how the vision is with this revenue share and the platform that we have. So do the thing, do all the things, like, share, force your family to force them, like tell them you're not a VIP until you subscribe for free on Bronco Nation updates. You can use the VIP in that way. Okay.
And it's never too early to donate for that Bronco Christmas on the Blue, right?
Right. It's open all year round. If you go to the page, you'll find it. If you keep scrolling, you'll scroll past, the membership, the NIL, the scholarship, and it's right in there too. It's also got its own page. You'll find the link there.
Yeah. Good time. Well, every Wednesday night, you can catch me on Bourbon, Beer, and Basketball right here on the Bronco Nation Updates YouTube channel. We had a great show last night. If you want to go back and take a look at it, it's on the channel. We got another great show lined up for next Wednesday at 7:30 Central Time, 6:30 Mountain Time. So be on the lookout for that. The College Football Roundtable, I don't have a date for that one yet. I've got to get with the fellow roundtableians and figure out which day is good for them to preview the national championship game. Be on the lookout for that if that's something you're interested in. That too will be on Bronco Nation Updates YouTube. Nick, do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, just really appreciate you guys for watching. If you're watching the replay, again, just share it out. Share it to Bronco Nation Updates, the group. Share it far and wide. And I just really appreciate you guys. Thank you for having patience with me tonight, Sam, and everybody watching. I got out of that. Didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, but Lord willing, here I am. So really appreciate you guys. And
I
do all the things.
But before we get out of here, I do want to shout out to you. Even with everything you got going on in your life, you're still staying on top of Portal and still getting the Portal information out. I know it's new information daily until the portal closes, and you've been doing a bang-up job on that and getting Bronco Nation up to speed on what's going on and giving them an avenue to be able to keep track of everything. So thank you for that, and great job.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet, and I look forward to getting some of these new guys on one of our Blue Turf talks. So we'll stay tuned for that, guys. That's coming up next. So really appreciate you guys. Take care. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Blue Elevation Elevating Bronco Sports through fans like you. Every donation fuels Boise State athletics, scholarships, and community projects, helping student athletes reach championship levels. With over $13,000 raised, Blue Elevation is Boise State's #1 crowdsourcing outlet. Join the movement, elevate the Broncos, and make every gift count. Visit blueelevation.org to elevate Boise State to the next level.